In modern warfare, few weapons represent power quite like an aircraft carrier. These floating military bases can carry fighter jets, missiles, helicopters, radar systems, and thousands of personnel across entire oceans. They allow countries to project military strength anywhere in the world without relying on foreign bases. And some aircraft carriers are so massive, they look more like floating cities than warships. But which aircraft carriers are the most powerful ever built? And why are they considered the ultimate symbol of naval dominance? Let's find out. Aircraft carriers completely changed warfare during the 20th century. Before carriers became dominant, battleships controlled the seas. Massive naval guns determined victory. But World War II proved something revolutionary. Air power was far more important than giant cannons. Aircraft launched from carriers could strike targets hundreds of kilometers away. And from that moment onward, aircraft carriers became the kings of naval warfare. Today, only a handful of countries possess advanced carrier fleets. And operating one is incredibly expensive. A single modern aircraft carrier can cost billions of dollars to build and maintain. But for powerful nations, the strategic advantage is worth it. Let's begin with one of the most famous carriers ever built, the USS Nimitz. For decades, the Nimitz-class aircraft carriers represented the backbone of American naval power. Powered by nuclear reactors, these massive warships can operate for years without refueling. That means they can travel across the world while carrying dozens of fighter jets, surveillance aircraft, helicopters, and defensive weapons systems. The Nimitz-class carriers are over 1,000 feet long and capable of supporting thousands of crew members. In many ways, they function like mobile military cities. And because they operate alongside destroyers, submarines, and support ships, they become the center of an entire carrier strike group. This combination creates one of the most powerful military formations on Earth. But America didn't stop there. Then came the Gerald R. Ford class, the most advanced aircraft carriers ever constructed. These carriers introduced new technologies designed for future warfare. Electromagnetic launch systems replaced older steam catapults. Advanced radar systems improved tracking and defense capabilities. Automation reduced crew requirements, and the ship was designed to launch aircraft faster and more efficiently during combat operations. The Gerald R. Ford class represents the next evolution of naval warfare. But the United States is not the only nation expanding carrier power. China has rapidly entered the aircraft carrier race. For years, China focused mainly on regional naval defense. But now, Beijing is building blue water naval capabilities designed for global influence. China's aircraft carriers symbolize its growing military ambitions. The Liaoning, China's first operational carrier, helped train pilots and develop carrier operations. Then came newer and more advanced carriers with improved technology and greater capabilities. China understands something very important. Aircraft carriers are not only military tools. They are political symbols. When a carrier enters a region, it sends a message of strength and influence. India is another country strengthening carrier capabilities. Located in a strategically important region surrounded by major trade routes, India sees naval power as essential for regional security. The INS Vikrant India and INS Vikrant play major roles in India's growing maritime strategy, especially in the Indian Ocean. Meanwhile, the United Kingdom also returned to carrier operations with the Queen Elizabeth-class carriers. These modern warships were built to operate advanced stealth fighters like the F-35B. Despite having fewer carriers than the United States, Britain still maintains significant naval influence through advanced technology and alliances. Now let's talk about what makes carriers so powerful. It's not just size, it's versatility. An aircraft carrier can launch airstrikes, provide surveillance, support amphibious landings, enforce no-fly zones, conduct humanitarian missions, and respond rapidly to crises anywhere in the world. Few military assets offer that level of flexibility. But carriers also face growing threats. Modern anti-ship missiles are becoming faster and more dangerous, especially hypersonic missiles. Some experts believe future missile technology could challenge the dominance of aircraft carriers by making them more vulnerable in high-intensity conflicts. This has sparked debate among military analysts. Are aircraft carriers still the ultimate weapon? Or could future technologies eventually reduce their importance? Supporters argue carriers remain essential because they provide unmatched mobility and air power projection. Critics warn that advanced missile systems may force navies to rethink how carriers operate in future wars. And then there's the rise of drones. Future carriers may rely increasingly on unmanned aircraft for surveillance, refueling, and combat missions. Artificial intelligence could also change naval warfare dramatically in the coming decades. Imagine autonomous drone swarms launching directly from aircraft carriers during battle. That future may not be far away. Despite these challenges, aircraft carriers remain among the most powerful military assets ever created. They combine air power, mobility, strategy, and global reach into a single platform. And when nations deploy carriers near conflict zones, the world pays attention. Because these warships are more than just military equipment. They are symbols of national power, floating reminders of geopolitical influence. And as global competition continues across the Pacific, the Indian Ocean, and beyond, aircraft carriers will likely remain central to military strategy for decades to come. The battle for naval dominance is far from over, and the next generation of carriers may become even more advanced, automated, and deadly than anything we've seen before.